Greetings and salutations from sunny San Diego, California. I just came into my room to set up this live stream, and the sunlight was just like bursting in, almost blinded me. So first of all, thank you so much for joining me. If you are live right now, could you please let me know if you are hearing me okay, if the audio is okay, and all of that jazz. So you may be wondering what I am doing in California. Well, let me tell you, I am at the Symposium for Metabolic Health, San Diego. This is put on by Low Carb USA, and it happens twice a year. So Boca is one conference that's in January typically, and then San Diego is in August. So this is my first time going to the San Diego conference, and it's been really, really good. Today was all focused on using ketogenic diets in the treatment of mental health conditions, metabolic psychiatry. And it was really, really good. So mental health is a topic that's very close to my heart. I used to have pretty severe anxiety and depression when I was younger, that I then self-medicated with drugs and alcohol for many years up through to my mid-20s. And, now obviously doing the carnivore diet, and I'm doing a lot better, but it's just such a good day. I believe tomorrow there's going to be some more mental health focus as well, so that's awesome. The woman that wrote this book, Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind, I talk about this book all the time here on the channel, Dr. Georgia Ede. She was the first presenter of the day, and she, a great presentation on, what is technically a ketogenic diet, how to use it, mechanisms of how it works, and all those kinds of things. And then there were several other presenters throughout the day, a panel before lunchtime, and then lunchtime. And then we went into 3 more presenters with Brett Shear and Hannah Warren of Metabolic Mind YouTube channel. If you have any kind of mental health reasons why you're doing carnivore or keto, definitely head over to that YouTube channel, Metabolic Mind. Lots of science and research-based videos about the ketogenic diet and using keto to manage mental health, and sometimes put into remission multiple different mental health conditions. So that's really interesting. And then there was some more research by a couple other clinicians and scientists. And then they just did a panel. They just got done. We just finished up I had to leave at 5:40 so I could get back upstairs. I had to talk to the boys first and then come here. But if you could let me know if you can hear me okay, let me know where you're watching from and all that jazz. I'm going to go over the conference a little bit more, and then we're going to talk about a couple other little housekeeping things. And then if you have any kind of questions whatsoever, just put them into the chat box and we will get them answered for you. I'm going to have this be a pretty short live today because I'm starving and I need to find food, and it's been a long day. So this conference is open to anybody that wants to attend. It's not just for doctors and scientists and researchers. It's open to the public. And they also have a live stream option. So if you are in the San Diego area or you can get here, there's another 3 days of this conference and you can still get tickets. I will put a link to the conference in the description, but it is lowcarbusa.com. So you can do that. It's currently being held at the Wyndham Bayside. So right on the water. Beautiful, beautiful hotel. So much fun so far. Looks like everybody is saying that they can hear me fine, so that's good. No issues there. And hello to everyone that I said hello. Hello from New Jersey, Salem, Oregon, Virginia Beach, upstate South Carolina, Cleveland, Ohio. Hello, hello, everyone. So I really, if you watch my channel, you know that I like science. I like the data. I like bringing you, evidence-based, research-based videos. I don't want to just be creating content all willy-nilly. So one of the ways that I do that is by attending conferences like this. This does have a more science bent. So, some of the, some of the questions and things can be like, oh my gosh, there was a lot of sciencey type words, but I find it fascinating. And I always learn a lot of these conferences. So that's why I continue going. 3 more days, like I said. There's presentations by Dave Feldman, Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Berg, who else? Adrian Sotomayor, tons of people. So yes, if you want to live stream it, I think it's only like $100, and you can live stream the entire rest of the conference too. So if you can't come out here, do that. All right. So next, I wanted to do a couple of little housekeeping things. It is mid-August. Over in the carnivore, my carnivore community, Jenny Mitich Carnivore Community on Circle, we are doing an August challenge where you had to pick one thing that you were concentrating on to improve. Could be anything. It could just be sticking to strict carnivore. Some people needed to work on consistency. So it could have been a movement-based goal. For me, it was I wanted to be consistent with my strength training and my walking. I wanted to do it at least 3 times a week, every week in August. And so far, I've been doing that. Now, since I'm here basically from last night until Sunday, actually Monday morning, maybe I'll make it because they have a little fitness center here, but we'll see. I got all my weight training and my walking in before I got here, so that's good. If you would like to join in the August challenge, yes, it's halfway over, but that's okay. I have both free and premium membership over in the Circle Carnivore Community. Both links are in the description. We're going to have a Circle premium members only live stream on Sunday. I have not scheduled it yet over there for anyone that is a Circle member over, like watching this right now. But I will schedule that. I need to do that. I keep dropping the ball. Schedule a live. I also have one-on-one coaching. So if you are running into some difficulties with carnivore, if you are wanting to get started but need some tips or have some questions, really running into anything, if you'd like me to take a look at your labs, I am not a doctor, so I can't give you medical advice, but I can steer you in the right direction and tell you some, reference ranges that are desirable on carnivore and things like that. Whatever it is, you can schedule a 30-minute coaching call with me. That link is also in the description. And I believe I have my hours out through the end of August up. So that is always an option. I absolutely love talking to you one-on-one. That is one of the most fulfilling parts of this job, is helping people. So that is always available. I've got a few questions that are coming up on this feed. I think it's time to move to questions. Also, do you love my hair? I was told that San Diego was not going to frizz my hair. It was a lie. Filthy, dirty lie. It's better than it was in Boca. When I went to Boca, I curled my hair. I went outside to get a Starbucks. It went curled. It was real sad. At least here there's a little bit left. So sad. All right, I'm going to go back up. I'm going to pop some of these questions up on the screen. So if you have a question, please put it into the chat box, and I will get to as many as I can here in the next 10 to 15 minutes so I can go eat some food. All right. I Prefer Income says, I always hear about the good things to do with the carnivore diet, but are there any negative things regarding health that we should be aware of? That is a very, very good question. So the thing with carnivore, I think the negative that I can think of right off the bat is the transition from whatever you're eating now over to the carnivore diet. So keto flu is real, and a lot of people experience it. Keto flu is basically just carbohydrate withdrawal, sugar withdrawal. It's very similar to drug withdrawals, actually, when you think about it. Fatigue, diarrhea, some people have constipation, restlessness, anxiety. Sometimes there's a bit of heart palpitations and things like that. My main symptoms were fatigue and diarrhea. Those were not fun. Sleep disturbances and all that kind of stuff. That sucks. And that is a very normal and very common occurrence in the beginning of carnivore. As far as, negative things like, is it going to hurt you? there's no evidence to show that. What I'm more concerned about when I'm thinking of diet is high blood glucose, high sugar levels. Any way of eating that you can reduce the amount of sugar going into your body, I think is a good thing to try. Eating whole, real food, getting rid of vegetable seed oils, and reducing the sugars so that you can get your blood glucose levels back to normal. So you can try to regulate the blood pressure back to normal. And those are all things you can do on carnivore. I think the negative things we hear about with carnivore are cholesterol. Oh no, your cholesterol is going to go up. Well, what a lot of doctors are talking about, conventional doctors, I should say, what a lot of them are talking about when they talk about that is that, oh, your LDL cholesterol may go up or your total cholesterol, not really looking at HDL and triglycerides, which I think are the more valuable numbers on that lipid panel. There are times when I would look at, LDL cholesterol, but it has to be within the context of all of my other numbers. So I have to look at my blood glucose, my A1C, my fasting insulin, my HSCRP, which is an inflammation marker, homocysteine. And there's just so many other markers that I like to look at, plus like a DEXA scan, waist to height circumference. Is that what that is? Waist to height ratio. How do I feel? Things like that. So when I'm looking at like a cholesterol number, I'm basically looking at triglycerides. I want them to be under 100 within the context of a ketogenic diet. And I want my HDL to be above 50. Some will say above 40 for men, above 50 for women. Aiming for above 50 for both is good. And then you want your triglyceride to HDL ratio to be under a 2. So that's what I'm looking at when I look at a cholesterol panel, standard lipid panel. But yeah, you could very well see LDL cholesterol go up and total cholesterol go up. It does happen for some people on carnivore. Is that a negative? I don't think so. LDL cholesterol is not causal in heart disease. It's not causing the arterial damage in the first place. So I'm not super concerned about it. Here's another question. What would you do? I have to have abdominal surgery for a ligament that is pressing on my celiac artery. The doctors say I won't be able to eat for days, and they have to feed me the nutrition by liquid. What to do. They say it will be hard to digest fat for months after the surgery. I'm so lost and upset since I've reversed my entire life over the last 15 months. Liquid diet. Okay, so if they're feeding you through a tube, typically their liquid diets are just going to be, sugar and oil and, things like that. There's several different, feeding tube liquid diets out there. Otherwise, if you can drink and you're doing nutrition by liquid, you could do some kind of like protein shakes or something like that. I don't know exactly what they're going to be doing or if you're going to be in charge of that. But here's the thing. I feel like a lot of conventional doctors just don't know about ketogenic diets and things like that. I know for like bariatric surgery, it can be difficult to digest fat, but you can get used to it. There's digestive enzymes you can use. There's different like oxbile, HCl is a good hydrochloric acid. It's a stomach acid supplement that helps build stomach acid. But they may say it'll be hard to digest food, but I don't know. Will it actually be? I think, try to figure out the lowest sugar, lowest vegetable seed oil, lowest soy-based liquid diet you can do, and do that while you have to, and then try to transition back onto the ketogenic diet slowly but surely. I think it's going to take a lot of experimentation. And I don't even know if it's going to be hard to digest fat. I don't know if they're just saying that because that's the assumption or if it's actually true. So, you have to get the surgery. So unfortunately, that's just kind of, I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer for you. I think you're just going to have to test drive the service and see what happens. They might just be saying that because they don't know, or they might be saying it because it might be hard to digest fat for a while. You could always do a slightly lower fat, higher protein version of carnivore, or you could just do just keto, which you can tolerate a few more carbs, and maybe that'll help with fat digestion too. All right, I was on keto for years, went off for a couple of months, and my rheumatoid arthritis is really acting up. Time to go back on. Yeah, that can happen, especially if you went off the rails with like ultra processed foods, sugar, grains, all that kind of stuff. Time to get back on the train, the keto train. Next question. What do you think of exogenous ketones? I love them. I have some right here. So here's the thing. Let me grab them. I do not think exogenous ketones, these are the ones I use. So I use exogenous ketones in this way. Couple of ways. So I like to use them right before a workout because I feel like they kind of help me get in the zone. I like to use them if I am not going to be able to eat for a while. They're really good for an appetite suppressant for a few hours. So before working out, appetite suppressant, and what was the other one? If you're trying to raise your ketone levels in your bloodstream, I mean, this will do the trick. But here's the thing with exogenous ketones. Yeah, okay, cool, you get the benefits of it, but your body has to burn these first. So it's not going to be burning your own ketone supply until it burns this off. And just like glucose. So when you eat a high sugar meal, your body has to stop what it's doing and it has to address that glucose spike first before it can do anything else. Same thing with alcohol. Flake City ASMR has a question about alcohol. We'll get to that in a minute. But the minute you drink alcohol, your body's like, oh, we got a poison in the body and we got to get that out. Not that glucose or ketones are poison. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I'm saying, like, if it's coming from the outside, your body's going to burn those first. But I found a lot of success with these. I like them. This one is really effective. It has a really good form of the ketones. So yeah, but as far as like using them for weight loss, I don't think that's probably the best way to use exogenous ketones, in my opinion. Next question is, can you speak on alcohol? Sure can. So alcohol is definitely not carnivore, for sure. Alcohol, yeah, I think in the first 90 days of carnivore, you should probably avoid alcohol as much as possible. Alcohol, like I said, the minute you drink it, your body has to stop everything it's doing and burn the alcohol first. So if you are drinking some alcohol and eating a really high carb, high fat, high protein meal, your body is going to just process the alcohol out, but it has to store all that other energy somewhere else. So all of that's just going to go straight into either like muscles, like glucogen. I'm sorry, my brain is so mushy right now. I've literally just been in conferences all day. Glucagon storage in your muscles. Fat and all that kind of stuff can be stored into your fat cells and things while your body is working on getting the alcohol out. So, I guess when I first got into this world with like keto, I was still drinking every day. I used to drink a lot, and I was always shocked that the scale wouldn't move when I was drinking. I'm like, it's just liquid. Why is this liquid, causing me to gain weight? Well, there's, calories in there. And then also all of everything else in your body has to stop working while it's processing out the alcohol. So I guess the minute I stopped including alcohol, I barely drink anymore. I probably drink every 6 to 8 weeks, one drink. That has been really helpful for me. This is coming from a person that drank every single day for years. I have seen great benefits by quitting alcohol almost completely. So I'm a big proponent of just not drinking as much as possible. Here and there, sure. But when you do a very low carb option, like a vodka soda, a Truly, a White Claw, whiskey on the rocks or something like that, I will say that once in a blue moon, I will have a beer. I had 2 beers this year. It was a really hot summer day and I love summer shandy. So I was like, you know what? I haven't had a beer yet this year and I love that beer. I'm going to have it. Drank it. I was fine. Was fine the next day, but I won't do that again until next year. I will have a margarita, a full sugar margarita, probably quarterly. I love margaritas. I love Mexican food. So if I'm going to a nice place and we're going to have some food, I'll keep the food carnivore and have a margarita once in a blue moon. So I think if you can do that, that can work. That can work. But in general, no, I don't think alcohol should be included on a carnivore diet. Ace says 4 days in and my heart rate is up. Lion diet. Yeah, that's pretty normal. That can be a common keto flu symptom. So if you encounter that, I would say drink more water, try to up your electrolytes. And that pretty much clears up typically between 2 to 3 weeks. Salt can really help with that though, for sure. Okay, type 1 diabetic with new heart stent. Any medication I should not quit. Full carnivore 3 months. Feel awesome. Cut my insulin to 1/4 of what I was using to maintain. Okay, so that's amazing. Congratulations. The Low Carb USA conference I went to in Boca in January, their first day was fully focused on type 1 diabetes and using ketogenic diets to manage it. So carnivore is a very ketogenic diet typically. So yeah, that's awesome that you are able to do that. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I can't advise you to quit anything. I would say work with a clinician, but the fact that you've been able to cut your insulin down to 1/4 to manage your symptoms. So for anybody out there that doesn't know, type 1 diabetes, they have to take insulin for the rest of their lives because they do not have a functioning pancreas. If they do not do that, they could and will die. Whereas type 2 is caused by too many carbohydrates, high blood sugar, high blood glucose levels like that. And that type 2 can go into remission. You can put type 2 into remission and not have to take any kind of medication anymore with low carb dieting, with a ketogenic diet. But type 1, it's a little different. So that's awesome that you have been able to get that to more manageable levels. And I think one of the great benefits for type 1 is just you're not always on that carb roller coaster where you have to figure out like, okay, if I eat this many carbs, I'm gonna have to take this insulin before, this insulin after, and just like, woo, all day long. On a carnivore diet, your blood glucose is just so much more tight that you can actually have a normal A1C and normal fasting glucose levels as a type 1 and only have to take minimal amounts of insulin. So, I mean, for now, I would say you're only full carnivore for 3 months. I would love if you could find a clinician, a doctor that was low carb friendly and would have the best advice for you about tapering off medications. I can't think of any medications offhand that you should stop taking right now. I'm a proponent. I'm a believer of stay on your medications for the time being and tapering off and working with your doctor on that. For like blood pressure medications for some people, they early on in carnivore, you can see your blood pressure regulate pretty quickly, but I do not want anybody to just go off their blood pressure medication. Even slightly high blood pressure, elevated blood pressure can cause a stroke. It can cause heart attacks. It can do a lot of things. And I don't want you to just take yourself off medication. Same thing with psych meds. You do not want to just stop taking psychiatric meds. You need to work very closely with a doctor on that. But I know if you're using a ketogenic diet to monitor mental health stuff, you can start feeling better pretty quickly, like within 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And the amount of psychiatric medication you're taking might start to feel really overwhelming, like you're getting sedated too much. So you might have to taper down slowly. But like Dr. Eid was just talking today about, she likes to, usually 3 weeks is the earliest, but she likes to wait about 12 and then she tapers one medication at a time slowly. And, it's different for every person. It's very, psych meds, it's a unique process for each person, as is any medication. So I would say work with your doctor there For sure. Dog says, that's what I was thinking. Thanks. No good answer, really. Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have a better answer for you on that liquid diet. But I don't think it's hopeless. I think you could make it work. But it's just going to take some experimentation. All right. I love your hair. It looks so lovely, shiny, and healthy. Oh, thank you. May I ask what products you use or what color, if you use color products? Yes. So I use this apple cider vinegar shampoo from OUI. I don't know. I get it at Ulta. And I use Joku conditioner. I'll link all this stuff in the description. And then, yes, I get my hair dyed at an Aveda salon. Probably, gosh, at least the roots every 5 to 6 weeks because I'm getting grays and they be popping and I don't like it. I do full color on my whole head probably every 3 months and I get a haircut every 3 months. And then product wise, like Kenra spray for blow drying because it lowers the amount of time that you have to blow dry. I really need to get something better for frizz because this was like beautiful curls and my hair is just like fallen. But thank you for the compliment. There we go. This is a good answer for you, Dogs 2X. Jill says, request a meeting well before surgery, but most health professionals don't accept carnivores yet, in my opinion. She's a nurse, so plan to ask for specific special treatment or else the food is jello. Yeah, I just spent a month in the hospital with a family member, and the liquid diet that they had for them was broths, grits, because we were in South Carolina. What else did they give us? It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. Let's just put it that way. Amy, from 350 to 280 on the keto carnivore diet. My current lab results showed my LDL went up, but everything else is good. Anything to worry about? I wouldn't be worried personally. No, that can happen. That's pretty common, especially with that huge drop in weight. That's 70 pounds that you lost. There's a really interesting meta-analysis that Dave Feldman and I think Adrian Sotomayor and I think Nick Norwitz was on that, where they did a analysis of like 30 different studies to show that what's influencing your LDL cholesterol numbers more is BMI as opposed to saturated fat intake. So I don't know if you've heard anything about lean mass hyperresponders. Dave Feldman coined the phrase, and there's a lot of research going on. And that's basically a person that goes on a ketogenic diet and sees their LDL cholesterol numbers skyrocket, but their HDL is also super, super high and their triglycerides are super, super low. Typically, this is seen in lean people. So not that I'm saying that you're a lean mass hyperresponder, but it is interesting that since you've lost 70 pounds, that your LDL cholesterol is now starting to go up. I have found something similar with my numbers. So I started carnivore, I was 195 pounds. I am currently 152 to 155. And as I've continued losing weight, my LDL cholesterol numbers have also gone up. And it's not something that I worry about because LDL cholesterol is not causal in heart disease. LDL in and of itself on its own isn't going into my arteries and hurting them. It's part of an inflammatory reaction. So there has to be damage to the artery first. And then, LDL cholesterol and a bunch of other things too. Like plaques aren't just made of LDL cholesterol. There's lots of different components to it. Blood cells, a lot of clotting like fibrinogen and all this different stuff. LDL cholesterol is just one little tiny piece of the puzzle. So no, I'm not worried about it. That's a decision you have to make for yourself. If your triglycerides are under 100, your HDL is above 50, your fasting glucose under 100, A1C below 5.6, 5.7, HSCRP, I like to see below 1, but below 3 is kind of like the big range. Homocysteine in the single digits. My DEXA scan, I like to look at a DEXA and see that there's not a lot of visceral fat. How are you feeling? Honestly, in my opinion, I think it's fine. There's also a really interesting article I should put in the description of this video. I just dropped my papers. It's an opinion piece that has like 60, 70 references. Is LDL cholesterol a concern for somebody on a ketogenic diet when all of their other markers are good? So what I'll do is I will put a link in the description to that study. It's not like a randomized controlled trial or anything. It's just an opinion piece, but there's like links to 60 to 70 really good articles. They're just talking, the people are just talking about, the researchers are talking about why they think, you know, it's not something to be concerned about. That was an excellent article, and I think you would probably want to read that. Trees Matter says, welcome to San Diego. Thank you. This is my first time. And yeah, I'm loving it. And Jennifer says, San Diego is so stinking humid right now. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it really isn't that bad when compared to like Chicago, but my hair is saying, and I'm sad because I was told by my loving husband that they were gonna, you know, I was gonna love it. My hair was gonna be beautiful all day, and it's not. I'm in San Diego. There are lots of good carnivore options here. All you can eat Korean barbecue. Look into Convoy Street. It's a large Asian area with lots of Korean barbecue places. I love Korean barbecue. I will do just that. Convoy Street. Thanks for the tip. I am looking for a place to eat tonight. I went to Ruth's Chris last night, but I hate paying $75 for a tiny little steak. I can get better ribeye at Costco for, you know, $12 a pound. It is not fun. And then I went to Claim Jumper, and I had a rack of ribs for lunch today, but I need to get more food. Fancy, probably carnivore. Yeah, anime. So probably carnivore friendly dining experience anime. That I did save. So when I was on the plane, I made a list of carnivore friendly restaurants that I had looked up, and that was on the list. It looks really, really good. Cowboy Star has awesome steaks. Yeah, keep the recommendations coming, guys, because I'm going to be here for like 3 or 4 more days. And I need food. All right, question. Macy's mom, do you know what is a good fasting insulin lab? What number is a good goal? Are you asking like what is the fasting insulin lab? So I get my fasting insulin done on ownyourlabs.com. It's typically like I think $12.60 or something in that range. And when you're looking it up in their catalog, it's just insulin, not fasting insulin, but it is a fasting insulin test. So you would want to fast for 12 to 14 hours beforehand, no more, no less. Do not drink any coffee or anything, just water. And then get the test done. So a good goal is anything in the single digits, but if optimal, between 2 and 6. And I got those reference ranges from Dr. Siwas and from, I think Dr. Eid has a fasting insulin. She has some blood work ranges in here that she likes. But yeah, typically you want it to be in the single digits. So yeah, that's that. Elizabeth, thank you so much for all your content. Helped me lose 81 pounds so far. Dang, Elizabeth, good job. That's amazing. That's amazing. Super proud of you. I'm glad that you find my content helpful. I enjoy making it. Bella says, welcome to San Diego. We love you. I love you. I really want to come and live here, but it's too expensive for me right now. We are thinking about perhaps spending a month and a half here in the wintertime. We'll see. We shall see. Jennifer says, there's a Fogo in the gas lamp. Yeah, I saw that. I love Brazilian steakhouses. Fogo are so, so good. So good. I went to a Fogo with a few of my viewers, actually, when I was down at the Hack Your Health conference in Austin. That was super, super fun. Carla and Steve, shout out. All right, Diane, excuse me, says, how strict are you with seasonings when you eat out? Okay, so I use seasonings in my daily life already because I came to carnivore not for like severe autoimmune issues or things like that. I came for weight loss, honestly. So I include garlic powder and salt. Those are my 2 go-tos. And then like if I'm making chicken wings, I'll do some smoked paprika, onion powder. Once in a blue moon, I'll use some black pepper. Black pepper does have a lot of oxalates in it though, so I try to avoid that. When I'm eating out, I guess you have to compromise a bit. I don't want to get anything that's like swimming in vegetable seed oil. That would be my main concern. But because I'm not so sensitive with seasonings per se, it's not as big of a deal for me. Would I want to do that every single day? No. But when I'm on a trip like this, I'm in a hotel room. I have a fridge, so I could go to the grocery store and get some okay things there, but I can't cook anything. So I'm just going to have to make do with what I do. So no, it doesn't concern me. I think the only people that need to be super concerned about that is people that have reactions to seasonings and are very sensitive, for sure. In-N-Out is a cheapy option. Yes, it is. But I'm down at the Wyndham Bayside. So I'm in like downtown, right on the harbor. And I looked it up, and it is a little bit of a jaunt. So I could Grubhub it, or I could Uber Eats it, or I could just go over there. But yeah. Peter says, what was the website? Own Your Labs? Yes, ownyourlabs.com. They, in the United States only, 45 out of the 50 states in the United States, you can order blood work completely on your own. And you have to go to a LabCorp location to get the blood draw. So if you do not have a LabCorp location anywhere near you, I know I've talked to some people that are in Michigan, and it's like 2 hours to get to a LabCorp, but they could get to a Quest. If you only have a Quest Diagnostics near you, order from altalabtests.com, or I think Walk-In Labs. I think they sell from both LabCorp and Quest. But those are good options. I think the 5 states there where it's not allowed is like Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York. There's some weird laws where you're not allowed to do that. But they will list it out on there. You have to have an address. You have to put your address in order to get the labs. So you can't really skirt the system. But yeah, that's the way I do it. If you use ownyourlabs.com, I do have a coupon code for 10% off. It's just my name, Jenny Mitich, Mitich. And that is not an affiliate link. I don't get any kind of payments or kickbacks for that. I just really believe in Own Your Labs, and I love that I'm able to get blood work. So I got you guys a coupon code because I think you should save some money too. Diane does 3 patties, 2 cheese at In-N-Out. I love In-N-Out. I think I've only had them one time when I was out in Vegas, and they're so, so good. A favorite amongst locals for burgers, Hodad's in Ocean Beach. All right, I'll write that one down too. Thank you for all your tips. So many people from San Diego. Daisy says, what are your thoughts of high-fat meat and not having a gallbladder? Is there a way to do carnivore with lower-fat meat? Was on carnivore, but had a digestive health scare, then fell into my old ways. Okay, so when you were on carnivore, did you have an issue with high-fat carnivore? From everybody I've talked to without a gallbladder, the best solution for that is to ease into carnivore slowly, like build the fat up slowly. So that gives your body time to adjust. Some people with gallbladder issues respond really well to digestive enzymes such as ox bile or things like that. So I think, playing it by ear. Also, though, carnivore is typically high fat, medium protein, but some people do, moderate fat, moderate protein. You can kind of change the macros to address your concerns. So that could be a thing for sure. But the problem is you don't want to get too low fat, because with carnivore, you're not really consuming a lot of carbs. So all of your fuel is coming from fat. And then the building blocks are protein. Yeah, you'll get some fuel from the protein too a little bit, but the fat is the primary fuel source. So it's all about tweaking it, pushing and pulling different levers so you can figure out what works best for you in your individual situation. For sure. Be sure to get your questions in, guys. I'm probably gonna do another 5 minutes, and I want to make sure I answer them all. Also, guys, I'm gonna do lives tomorrow night and Saturday night. So that is also an option. All right. Also, go to a Mexican grocery store. They sell meats by the pound in the deli. Carnitas. Heck yeah. I love that. Jennifer, come borrow my air fryer. I love the air fryer. Ugh, I use it all the time. Every single day I'm using my air fryer. All right. Robert's Jalapenos at the Carmel Mountain Plaza. Carne asada. Sounds so good. You guys are making me hungry. I didn't eat breakfast because I was kind of lollygagging this morning. I didn't really sleep much last night because the time changed too. So I'm running on like 5 hours of sleep. So my brain is just complete mush. And I didn't eat breakfast, and I was starting to get lightheaded around 10:30, 11 a.m. So I had to like leave the conference for 15, 20 minutes and eat a rack of ribs and then go back in. It was very sad. All right. Honestly, all the hole-in-the-wall Mexican places are good in San Diego. Love it. Mexican food, if I could eat Mexican food and sushi every day for the rest of my life, I would be a happy person. Okay, Bella Brat for you. Oh my God, are you speaking at the symposium? Is Dr. Chafee there too? So excited for you. I am actually not speaking at this. I'm just here to learn. I love learning, and these kind of conferences are great because there's so much research and so much data, and that's my jam. And yeah, so no, I am just here to learn. I do have some interviews scheduled. Dr. Chafee is here. I saw him today. We have not technically met yet, though. Working on getting an interview with him. I do have an interview with Dave Feldman tomorrow morning, so that's good. And I really, I'd like to connect with Dr. Eid because I have a heart for mental health and using ketogenic diets for that. So yeah, this is kind of the kind of place where it's good for me to meet people, give out my card, make a connection. I have a few people that I would like to interview to get more information and things like that. So yeah, all of those reasons here. Okay, Diana says, hair still falling out. It's getting scary. Been eating carnivore for 17 months. Been eating 70-30. Okay, so it looks like, your ratios are fine. Here's the thing. There's several reasons why your hair can fall out. One of them, telogen effluvium. I did a video on that. I think we've talked in the comments of that video before. If it's that, once the hair, so a stressor happens, it could be anything. It could be a major diet change. It could be divorce, death in the family. Bariatric surgery is a very common cause of telogen effluvium, things like that, childbirth. The stressor happens, and then 3 months, and then your hair follicles go into a dormant phase. And about 3 months later, up to 30% of your hair can fall out. And then it stops, and then your hair starts to grow back. It's not a permanent thing, if that's what this is. I've also, thyroid issues are a huge, huge reason why you would be experiencing hair loss. So there's nothing you can do once the hair starts falling out. You just kind of have to, it's a horrible answer, and I'm sorry, because when I was losing my hair last year, I was freaking out. Over here, this whole thing right here was so thin, and my hair has come back now. It's still thin, but it looks better. But yeah, that was super, super scary. I would say though, I would want you to do a full thyroid panel so you can at least rule out hypothyroid or Hashimoto's or things like that, because hair loss is such a common symptom of thyroid. I actually think now, I just did testing on my thyroid with Dr. Amy Horniman, who I met at the Hack Your Health conference. She just looked over my full thyroid panel, and that video is going to be coming out in a week. And I think the reason my hair was falling out may not have been telogen effluvium. It may have been a thyroid issue. May have been that. So hang in there. It will stop. What WTF is going on? There's a carnivore convention here. It's not carnivore. It's a keto convention. It's called the Symposium for Metabolic Health. It is put on by Low Carb USA every year. They have one in August here, and then they have one in Boca Raton, Florida in January. So yeah, it's going on this whole weekend. Tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday from, it starts around 8. Well, the lectures start at 9, from 9 to 5:30 or 6 every day. You can still get tickets. You can still come I think it's $399 or $499. I can't remember for the in-person, but you can also do live stream. So yeah, definitely come and do that if you are in here. Daisy, thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. Anytime. Thank you for listening. I just don't want you to have to go through the same amount of effort that I went through to learn everything. Shouldn't have to, Jill says, is it Dr. Eves? I wasn't sure of the spelling. Okay, so it's Dr. Ede, E-D-E. Here's the book. I have linked it in the description of this live so that you can get yourself a copy. This is an excellent, excellent read. Change your diet, change your mind. I am trying to get an interview with her either this weekend or in the future because she's amazing. So I believe she's a Harvard trained or works at Harvard, if I can remember. And she is a psychiatrist and works here we go, a Harvard trained psychiatrist specializing in nutrition science, brain metabolism, and mental health. She has 2 decades of clinical experience, including 12 years at Smith and Harvard Health Services. So she's really big on nutrition, using therapeutic ketogenic diets to help heal from mental health conditions such as major depressive disorder, anxiety, schizophrenia, bipolar 1, bipolar 2, anorexia, lots and lots of things like that. So that's actually what we were, the main focus was for today. It was awesome. Mark Matthews, my poops are kind of hard to eliminate. Yes, common. Increase the amount of fat you're eating. If you're ever having a hard time going to the bathroom, increase the amount of fat. If you want to get it going real quick, do liquid, hot rendered fats. The other day I had an issue, and I'm never constipated, ever on carnivore, but I had eaten a lot of cheese a couple days before, and that backed me up. So if you're backed up and you're eating a lot of dairy, that could be an issue too. Bella, thank you so much for the super chat. So excited for you. Glad you're in our hood. Enjoy your time, and thank you for sharing with us. Anytime. I love your hood. This is beautiful. I want to live here. All right, Jennifer, do you think standard American diet could cover something like Hashimoto's that doesn't come to light until you clean up your diet with carnivore? 100%. The problem with thyroid conditions, number one, conventional doctors do not know how to test for it. In medical schools, they are taught to just run TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. And if the TSH is normal, they're like, oh, you're fine. They don't do T4, reverse T3, free T3, or the thyroid antibodies. And you really need to run all of them to get a true picture. Be sure to stay tuned for that thyroid video. It's coming out in a week. She was excellent. And I'm going to be getting a few more thyroid experts on because I find that topic very interesting, and I don't feel like there's enough high quality information out there to address that. But yeah, for sure, a standard American diet can hide a lot of things. Carnivore can heal a lot of things, but a lot of the time it wasn't just the nutrition that was the root cause issue. Some people, it's environmental, like they live in a moldy house, or it could be Lyme disease. It could be a chronic bacterial infection. There's so many things. And the wonderful thing about carnivore is it cuts through the noise. So you clean everything up. But if you're going carnivore and you're carnivoring harder and you still feel like crap after 6 months, there's something else going on. Carnivore can only do so much, So yeah, I definitely think so. I think with Hashimoto's, common symptoms are fatigue, hair loss, things like that. But, especially as women, and if you have small children, like I do, you're just told, oh, you're just tired because you have kids. Well, no, this is like a different type of exhaustion. This is like a deep well of exhaustion that doesn't go away with sleep. That's typically thyroid condition related stuff. You got to have somebody that knows how to, interpret it too. It's all very complicated and it's sad. Really shouldn't be, but yes, I do. The short answer to your question, Jennifer, is yes, I do think that a standard American diet could cover something like Hashimoto's, and it wouldn't come to light until you clean up your diet. Sorry, that was long-winded. Diane, have you been tracking your food? Are you under eating? That's a good question, Diana. Have you been under eating? Have you been tracking your food? Stephanie says Dr. Eads' book is amazing. It is a must read if you have any kind of mental health issues, or if you have any family or friends that do. I think everybody in this world is touched by mental health issues in some way, shape, or form. And it's becoming less stigmatized, but we really need to work very hard to destigmatize it. It's something we should all be able to talk about because we're all touched by it. You know, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Like, let's get better. You know, let's try to heal. Mark says, how do I prepare or make hot liquid fats? So, I mean, melted butter, hot melted butter on a steak. You could just, when you're eating like a pound of ground beef, all that fat that boils off, that's hot rendered fat. So you could just kind of like pour that over the ground beef and just eat it. You also, though, if you just up the fat intake, just through like maybe eat ribeye instead of skirt steak, things like that, add butter to everything, that can be helpful. But yeah. Mark has Wagyu tallow. Yeah, just heat that up in the microwave or in a saucepan and pour it over some meat and make sure you're consuming it all. MCT oil, technically not carnivore because it's made from a plant, but you know, if you get a high quality one, it's fine. That will get things moving real quick too. All right, Macy's mom, cook a brisket or chuck in a slow cooker. Save and drink the liquid when you need it. That's a really good tip too, Macy's mom. When you're making bone broth, there's a lot of fat that sits at the top. That would be considered liquid fat too. All right, guys, we have reached the end of our time. I stayed longer than I was going to. You know why? Because you're awesome and I enjoy talking to you. So I will be doing a live stream again tomorrow night after the conference is over. I'm aiming for 6 p.m. I should be able to do that. And I'm going to go get some food now, probably at one of these places that you guys recommended because they all sounded lovely. So I will see you tomorrow. All right. Have a good one.